Chapter 91, Chapter 91, Chapter 91, Marshal C. Immortal Venerable, Jade Ling Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 91, Chapter 91, Marshal C. Immortal Venerable, Jade Ling Palace. Translator, 549690339. Admittedly, Jiang Xiaobai's plan really worked wonders, but damn it, it's a hell of a heartbreaker. Ao Cangtian's face looked as if he'd just had a mouthful of shit. All eyes were on Ao Cangtian, with a squinted stare. One had already deciphered Ao Cangtian's intentions based on Jiang Xiaobai's words. He just wanted to bully his son and use the opportunity to kill Jiang Xiaobai. Could he stomach that? Even disregarding how important his son, Ao Cheng, was to him, just Jiang Xiaobai alone was enough to make him explode in rage. After all, the purification pills that the Dragon Valley enjoyed today were all concocted by Jiang Xiaobai. Moreover, Jiang Xiaobai was Ao Yan's partner. Despite many in Dragon Valley wanting him dead, the fact that Ao Yan hadn't said she wanted to kill him showed how important he was to her. If he fails to produce Jiang Xiaobai once Ao Yan breaks through her cultivation and emerges, Ao1 really didn't know what he would do. Ao Cangtian, well done, you are extremely brazen, even thinking of bullying my son. Ao1 roared in anger. Usually, your petty, devious actions were ignored. But today, you even sent the dragon guards to bully my son. What are they for? Are they your tools for showing off your power? Ao Cangtian's face turned red from Ao1's rage, but he was unable to utter a single word. After all, he did carry out this act subtly behind everyone's back. For a moment, he could only glare at Jiang Xiaobai, his heart full of resentment. Jiang Xiaobai felt the same, didn't he? Enough. Ao Cangtian, go back now. You're not allowed out without my permission. Ao Zhenbei coldly watched Ao Cangtian, with no way out. This time Ao Cangtian was completely tricked by Jiang Xiaobai, so he could only swallow his anger. Before leaving, he fiercely glared at Jiang Xiaobai, like a threat. Jiang Xiaobai, however, disregarded it. He and Ao Cheng were already out of the prison, and Ao1 was nearby. There was no need to worry about Ao Cangtian making a sneaky attack. Damn it, Jiang Xiaobai. You almost scared me to death just now. Once the coast was clear, Ao Cheng punched Jiang Xiaobai in the shoulder. But tell me, did you actually do it? Of course not. What were you thinking? Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes at him. Enough, you two better stay put at the foot of the mountain so as not to disturb Ao Yan's breakthrough. Otherwise, I'll make sure you won't see the light of day. Ao1 scolded as he stared contemptuously at Ao Cheng. Hold on, actually, I really can assist Ao Yan this time. Jiang Xiaobai hurriedly spoke out. At these words, Ao1 knitted his brows in suspicion. What do you mean? Ao Yan is at the most critical point of her breakthrough. The bloodline activation was due to the pills I gave her, but that's not enough. Jiang Xiaobai continued. Simply put, she's not fully utilizing the effects of her bloodline. I have several pills here that could significantly assist Ao Yan in her breakthrough. As he spoke, 3 pills had appeared in his hand, each exuding a mysterious atmosphere. Ao1 somewhat believed in Jiang Xiaobai. After all, everyone had witnessed his extraordinary skills in pill refining. After giving his watchful advice, Jiang Xiaobai went down the mountain with Ao Cheng, where Kong Yuhuai was waiting. Are you two all right? Seeing the two, Kong Yuhuai rushed to inquire. We're fine. That bald old dog cannot hurt me. He must be dreaming. With a domineering attitude, Ao Cheng scoffed. Look at how you were this morning, daring to call yourself the saint of 5 Lotus Mountain. You're an embarrassment. Kong Yuhuai could only awkwardly smile at his words. This morning, he had indeed been frightened. His heart was set on pill refining, and his own cultivation was only at the golden core stage. If his ability in pill refining scored 100 points, then his score in cultivation and combat would probably not even reach 10. Stop teasing Kong Yuhuai. Come over here, I have something to ask you. Jiang Xiaobai waved at Ao Cheng. Ao Cheng might be lacking in intelligence, but he had sharp instincts. When he saw the expression on Jiang Xiaobai's face, he knew the latter was up to no good. Jiang Xiaobai, what are you up to? If you want to ask about Ao Cangtian, I don't know anything. Don't expect to get any information out of me. Ao Cheng was outright denying, also, don't waste your energy on this matter. The truth is known to a handful in Dragon Valley, and your investigation will be futile. Nobody would disclose anything to you. Just give up. Instead of being bent on this, why not think about how we're going to tackle Ao Zhantian? Being exposed on the spot by Ao Cheng, Jiang Xiaobai was also slightly surprised. When did your brain become so useful that you figured it out? Jiang Xiaobai laughed in amusement. Go to hell. I've been busy all day, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. Ao Cheng snorted coldly, found a comfortable spot at the foot of the mountain, and then lay down to nap. Since he couldn't get any information out of him, Jiang Xiaobai had no choice but to drop the subject for the moment. He then chatted with Kong Yuhui about alchemy, and before they knew it, time flew, and an entire night passed quietly. By noon the next day, Ao Yen was still fully focused on her breakthrough. Ao1 had already given her the 3 pills. Now all they could do was wait. At this time, a mysterious visitor arrived in Dragon Valley. It was a charming and alluring lady dressed in a long purple silk dress, with her curvy figure swaying as she followed a Dragon Valley elder to Ao Yen's courtyard. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable, it's been ages. Seeing this beautiful lady, Ao1 couldn't help but smile and greet her. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable gave a gentle smile. You old fellow, it's been over 20 years and you look even more frail. Heh, you should know why. Ao1 shook his head. Anyway, Yenna is in the midst of her breakthrough right now, so I can't give you a grand reception. Please accept my virgin brew from this cup of tea. After they had their tea and exchanged pleasantries, the Marshal C. Immortal Venerable began to ask about Ao Yan's condition. At the same time, she attentively sensed Ao Yan's vibes, often nodding with satisfaction. I can feel that Yenna's bloodline power is very strong, and her aura is constantly rising. She should break through successfully tonight. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable laughed. It's just that we don't know what realm she will eventually break through to with this bloodline power. Haha, that depends on her individual fate. This time, the ancient clan has ill intentions and may force us. This time, Elwan's face was grave. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable understood what he meant and replied indifferently with a smile. You can rest assured. No matter what, I'll take Yenna as my disciple. Once she becomes my disciple, she belongs to Jade Ling Palace. Even if the ancient clan has the guts, they'll not dare to mess around. Chapter 94, Chapter 94, Chapter 94, Ao Cangtian and the 3 Elders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 94, Chapter 94, Ao Cangtian and the 3 Elders, Translator, 549690339. At the moment the words left his mouth, a cold aura enveloped the entire space around the table. Jiang Xiaobai felt his whole body turn icy cold. Thump, thump, subconsciously, he swallowed repeatedly, cold sweat coating his forehead and back. Damn, I said the wrong thing. The 3rd elder glared at Jiang Xiaobai furiously, his face black and his eyebrows furrowed tightly. How do you know about him? Jiang Xiaobai, unable to handle the terrifying pressure of the 3rd elder, confessed honestly. Of course, he only divulged how he knew about Ao Cangtian, claiming that it was out of curiosity. He couldn't reveal anything about Ao Cangtian's intentions until he thoroughly investigated the situation. Otherwise, he would undoubtedly be beaten to death. With his eyes narrowed, the 3rd elder seemed to be lost in thoughts of the distant past, his expression constantly changing, a mix of anger, sadness, and desolation. In just a moment, the 3rd elder regained his sour expression. You don't need to know about him, and don't ask me again. Otherwise, I'll break your legs and make you a cripple. He glared at Jiang Xiaobai. Jiang Xiaobai could only wince and retreat to his place. The feeling he had just now was indeed unbearable, almost suffocating him. See, I told you, no one in Dragon Valley will tell you about him. Do you understand that? Ao Cheng had a knowing smirk on his face. Especially that man, you must never mention him in front of the 3rd elder. If he didn't find you agreeable and it was any other disciple instead, they'd have been hanged and beaten to death. Jiang Xiaobai felt chills running down his spine. Why can't I mention him around the 3rd elder? How can you, who's usually clever, be this slow at a crucial moment? Ao Cheng replied irritably, seemingly not keen on explaining any further. However, it seemed like he was pretty bad at keeping secrets. Barely seconds passed before he couldn't resist spilling the beans. After a cautious look around, Ao Qing leaned over to Jiang Xiaobai, his face full of intrigue. When I was just over a decade old, I didn't know much. But I do know this, Ao Cangtian and the third elder are blood brothers. Buzz. Jiang Xiaobai's mind thudded. Good grief, this was explosive news. They're actually blood brothers. With this revelation, Jiang Xiaobai understood why the third elder reacted so intensely. If his own blood brother betrayed their clan, he'd likely react in the same manner. Actually, the third elder Ao Minghai and Ao Cangtian were the peak geniuses of the Dragon Valley in the past. Ao Qing raised an eyebrow at Jiang Xiaobai. However, because of that incident, the third elder fell from grace. Rumor has it that when they captured Ao Cangtian, the two brothers fought a deadly battle that shook the heavens and the earth. As Ao Qing gradually revealed his knowledge, Jiang Xiaobai began to understand the situation. The third elder found out about Ao Cangtian's betrayal. Filled with rage, he apprehended Ao Cangtian and they ensued in a great battle. At the end of the battle, the third elder defeated Ao Cangtian but suffered severe, incurable injuries. His capabilities dramatically diminished and his standing in Dragon Valley fell drastically as a result of Ao Cangtian's betrayal. Once a revered third elder, he was now regarded as a sloppy old man. Ever since then, the third elder stopped handling Dragon Valley matters, spending his days sitting in his courtyard, drinking, his temperament souring. So, in that case, I should count myself lucky that I wasn't smacked to death just now. Jiang Xiaobai contemplated. No shit. Do you want to bet that if I had spoken instead, I'd end up with a beating? Ao Qing responded irritably. Enough, don't keep asking about this. Even I can't handle the situation in Dragon Valley. As an outsider, it would be miracle if you're not killed. Jiang Xiaobai nodded, understanding Ao Qing's point. That is, inside Dragon Valley, there were still many who were keeping watch on Ao Cangtian. If Jiang Xiaobai continued probing, the consequences would be troublesome. If things got out of hand, even Ao Yen might not be able to protect him. Sheesh, what puzzles me is why you're so interested in that guy. He's a criminal in Dragon Valley. Kneeling before our ancestors for an entire lifetime would not be considered excessive. Ao Qing said sarcastically, you're not actually thinking of causing a rift, or, my sister would be the first one to beat you to death if that happens. Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes. Do you think I'm that kind of person? Ha, you totally are. You're the darkest-hearted person I've ever met in my life, bar none. Ao Qing sneered. Jiang Xiaobai ignored him, sitting in his spot and brooding over his drink. In his heart, it felt like someone was incessantly tickling him with a piece of grass. This feeling was incredibly unfair. The more he felt this way, the more he was determined to continue his investigation. He was extremely curious about the secrets within. The banquet, which lasted for 2 full hours, finally came to a conclusion. Jiang Xiaobai was about to go back for a rest, but the Marshalsea Immortal Venerable wanted a private chat with Ao Yen, so he had no choice but to look for Ao Qing. Unexpectedly, while passing a small grove, he caught sight of the 10th elder sneaking around suspiciously. This immediately set off alarm bells in Jiang Xiaobai's mind. He was aware that this man was connected to the ancient tribes. Immediately, he invisibly followed him like a mosquito. They moved through a dense forest, and soon, they came upon a cave. Around the cave was an enormous hidden array. It was only when the 10th elder activated his disc array could Jiang Xiaobai sense the array. Just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished since the 10th elder had already entered. Jiang Xiaobai froze. There were such secret places in Dragon Valley. If it was some forbidden area, he wouldn't be so curious. But seeing the 10th elder acting so suspicious, he knew something was amiss. Jiang Xiaobai hid himself outside. After half an hour, the 10th elder finally walked out. He maintained his sneaky demeanor, looking around warily as he paced, as though he feared being noticed by others. However, Jiang Xiaobai quickly noticed, the 10th elder's demeanor had changed from before. He seemed excited. What's going on, visiting a cave and coming out so excited? Could it be some sort of a hidden tryst? That doesn't make sense. As one of the elders in Dragon Valley, why would you need a hidden tryst? It's not like you need to hide from a tigress of a wife. Baffled, Jiang Xiaobai prepared to follow, but then Xiantian appeared. As soon as Xiantian appeared, the 10th elder approached him. How did it go? What does the ancestor say? Asked Xiantian. The ancestor says to proceed with the plan. However, Yen must not come to harm, the 10th elder replied. Chapter 95, Chapter 95, Chapter 95, Ancestors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 95, Chapter 95, Ancestors. Translator, 549690339. Xiantian looked gloomy. Is the plan still on? Does he not know that Yen is already a disciple of the Martial Sea Immortal Venerable? That's the second elder of Jade Ling Palace. The Dragon Valley is now backed by Jade Ling Palace. How can this plan still be carried out? Speaking of it, Xiantian was starting to get a headache. He squinted his eyes, his hands on his hips, pacing back and forth in the dense forest. He looked profoundly annoyed. The ancestor suggests that we should ignore this. The plan can be carried out completely. The 10th elder hurriedly explained. He instructed that as long as we marry Yen to Gubei, it would be enough. He would handle the rest. He will handle it. He will handle it. Xiantian said discontentedly. What does he know? The situation in Dragon Valley has changed now. Because of our undercover dealings with Jiang Xiaobai and Cheng, people are already unsatisfied with me. I can't suppress them anymore. This, the 10th elder looked shocked. How is that possible? We have. Are you sure that's what the ancestor meant? Did he contact the Gu clan? Yes, he has contacted them. The Gu clan is currently outsourcing the contract for buying cleansing pills. They will arrive in Dragon Valley in around half a month. The 10th elder quickly nodded. Afterward, Xiantian was seen pacing back and forth with narrowed eyes. Before he waved his hand and walked away without saying another word, the two quickly disappeared into the dense forest. Jiang Xiaobai, who had been secretly eavesdropping, was utterly shocked. Xiantian's ancestor. Isn't that the role of Yuanwu? Jiang Xiaobai was left feeling bewildered. He had learned major secret information. Although he didn't know what conspiracy or goals Xiantian and the others had, there was no doubt that they had formed an alliance with the Gu clan. So that is why they were so desperate to marry Yen to Gubei. Jiang Xiaobai was momentarily at a loss for what to do. Just now, he thought he might actually live through this, but now, it seemed the chance was slim. The other party was obviously fully prepared, and from the conversation of the two, the mastermind behind all of this, the ancestor, the ultimate goal was very likely to take the highest position in Dragon Valley. Jiang Xiaobai really wanted to expose Xiantian and the others, but he had no evidence to prove their collusion with the Gu clan. Moreover, with his current status in Dragon Valley, even if he revealed it, people might not believe him. Even more likely, he could expose himself, leading Xiantian and the others to kill him at all costs. First, they poisoned him, then they set up an ambush outside Dragon Valley. Jiang Xiaobai knew that if he made a mistake, their tactics would definitely be more than this. They might even forcefully exchange his life for another. This is a lose-lose situation. I need to lay low for now. If I jump out now, the risk will be too great. Jiang Xiaobai thought, before morphing back into a mosquito and left the dense forest. I need to find an opportunity, subtly leak this information, or lure someone from Dragon Valley here. That way, I can thwart their plans. As Jiang Xiaobai walked down the street, his brow furrowed and his mind in turmoil, he already felt he was losing control of the current situation in Dragon Valley. There was certainly a conspiracy behind Xiantian, targeting Dragon Valley and himself. In essence, in the midst of this conspiracy, Jiang Xiaobai was nothing but an insignificant being. He was so weak, his status so low, he was merely meat on the chopping block. Lost in his thoughts, he quickly arrived at Cheng's residence. To his surprise, his own chambermaid was waiting at the door. Prince Consort, the princess has asked for your immediate return. The maid hastily explained. Jiang Xiaobai was taken aback. Didn't Yen want to have a private chat with the Martial Sea Immortal Venerable? Although surprised, he didn't mind being able to go home, so he immediately hurried back with the maid. When they arrived at the small courtyard, the Marshalsea Immortal Venerable had already left, and Ao Yen was not sitting outside drinking tea. This somewhat relieved Jiang Xiaobai, at least showing that Ao Yen was in a good mood. However, the reality proved that he was wrong. He still didn't understand women. Because when he walked into the room, he found that crazy woman had moved and was now drinking tea in her own boudoir. What the hell? Jiang Xiaobai swore in his heart, but his expression remained calm. Did I hear you secretly tried to poison me? Ao Yen was looking at Jiang Xiaobai with a smirk. You're quite daring. That was the 9 yin-yang pills. How much must you hate me to use such a vicious poison on me? Jiang Xiaobai quickly tried to explain with a forced smile. I had no choice. If I didn't say that, how would Ao Zhantian possibly let me go? If I died in prison, wouldn't I be wronged to death? You wouldn't avenge me, and even if you did, what's the use? I'd already be dead. He spoke casually, but for some reason, it made Ao Yan's heart flutter. A feeling called heartache began to brew in her heart. She didn't even know Jiang Xiaobai had been through such an ordeal. She had been meditating at that time. As for revenge. The moment Jiang Xiaobai spoke those words, not only was her heart throbbing in pain, she also wished she could kill Ao Zhantian. Ao Yen looked at Jiang Xiaobai. Although his tone was calm, she could hear his immense grievance. She originally wanted to berate him for a bit, but her dissatisfaction had already dissipated. You weren't hurt inside, were you? After some thought, Ao Yen asked. That question was unbearable for Jiang Xiaobai. He abruptly lifted his head, looking at Ao Yen as if she were a ghost. Not only that, but he also quickly leaped forward and placed his hand on Ao Yen's forehead. Hiss, this is strange. You don't have a fever. Could it be that people change after a breakthrough? That's not right. Are you still Ao Yen? At this moment, Ao Yan's expression was dark as water, and her gaze was gradually becoming fierce. Feeling the goosebump-inducing murderous aura, Jiang Xiaobai immediately lifted his hand, hastily breaking into a grin. Well, 'twas a surprise. After all, it was really unexpected for you to suddenly show concern. I was pleasantly surprised. Ao Yen glanced at Jiang Xiaobai impatiently. Her feelings of concern had already been chased away by Jiang Xiaobai's jokes. You really don't know how to behave. Ao Yen teased. Do you think just because I'm now at a new level of cultivation, you can be saved? And so, you're starting to act presumptuously? No, not at all. I wouldn't dare to act presumptuously. Jiang Xiaobai hurriedly explained, feeling quite depressed. Women are such strange creatures. A breakthrough in cultivation is a great event. It should be a joyous occasion, right? Why does Ao Yen seem to be on edge, looking as though she's quite irritated with him? It's strange indeed. Humph, do you know what my master said today? He said you're nothing but a man lacking in learning and skills, just a mortal, and told me to drive you away. Ao Yen huffed. What do you say, should I drive you away or not? Or should I take some other measures? Nevertheless, I did say I would keep you alive and I will do it. Chapter 96, Chapter 96, Chapter 96, He will only hold you back. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 96, Chapter 96, He will only hold you back, translator, 549690339. After all, it's my fault that I got you involved in Dragon Valley this time, so, Ao Yen found it challenging to phrase her thoughts, yet she noticed that Jiang Xiaobai seemed indifferent about their predicament. She immediately frowned and asked, Jiang Xiaobai, what are you doing? Jiang Xiaobai snapped out of his thoughts. To be honest, he wasn't listening to Ao Yan's words, he was pondering over something. Why had Ao Yen started showing concern for him all of a sudden? What's wrong? Nothing. I'm just telling you that after the ancient clan's people leave, you should stay here and continue cooking for me. Do you understand? Ao Yen said irritably, from now on, just focus on cooking, no one will threaten you, okay? Oh, Jiang Xiaobai nodded nonchalantly. Well, it appears that Ao Yen is still the same. Her mind isn't messed up. However, his attitude really pissed off Ao Yen. I care about you so much, yet this is the attitude you give me? Just like an inflated balloon, Ao Yen puffed up in anger. She didn't want to talk to Jiang Xiaobai anymore. The hint of guilt that had risen in her heart just a moment ago, vanished instantly, this damned dunce. Dunce, dunce, dunce. Furthermore, her mood started to get more troubled. She wished to hear other responses from Jiang Xiaobai, like maybe something more excited. Or maybe Jiang Xiaobai could react more shockingly, or even display some other emotions. However, she didn't see any of these expressions or emotions on Jiang Xiaobai, which inexplicably made her feel uncomfortable, but in reality, Jiang Xiaobai didn't care about these at all. After confirming that Ao Yen was normal, he started thinking about the plan he overheard in the secret forest. So he didn't take Ao Yan's words to heart. He didn't believe he could go through this ordeal unscathed just with Ao Yan's help. Even if Ao Yan helped him get through this crisis, Cangtian and his companions would surely find ways to kill him afterward. Would Ao Yan still help him then? Now, it was because he had been trying to convince Ao Yan, and Ao Yan herself might feel guilty, so Jiang Xiaobai thought it was normal for Ao Yan to say such things. He was completely unaware that his behavior was causing certain princess to feel depressed the whole night. Early in the morning, Jiang Xiaobai woke up to the sound of his door being pushed open. It was Ao Yan. Get up quickly. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable will be here soon. If my master sees you like this, I'll get scolded. Ao Yan urged hurriedly. Only then did Jiang Xiaobai quickly get up and tidy everything up. Hee, get busy. I'm going to find Ao Cheng. Jiang Xiaobai chuckled and quickly walked out of the courtyard. Behind him, Ao Yan wanted to say something to him, but seeing how Jiang Xiaobai was, she stamped her foot in irritation. Damn dunce, you're driving me mad. Ao Yan huffed coldly in her heart, stomped her foot, and sat down on the stone bench unhappily. Not long after, Marshal C. Immortal Venerable came in. Seeing Ao Yan in this state, he chuckled. What's the matter, dear disciple, why are you upset so early in the morning? Is it because of the ancient clan? Upon seeing Marshal C. Immortal Venerable, Ao Yan quickly stood up to pour tea. It's not. I'm just a little irritable. Ao Yan responded coolly. Marshal C. Immortal Venerable chuckled. There's nothing to be irritated about. The ancient clan won't press you in Dragon Valley anymore. As for the marriage alliance, I'll persuade the palace master to intervene after I return. Thank you, master. Coming back to it, does that mortal want to leave? Marshal C. Immortal Venerable nodded. Inside Dragon Valley is a new world, different from the mortal world. If he insists on not wanting to leave, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't force. Don't worry, master. I'll talk to him about it. After all, with his strength, staying in Dragon Valley is useless. Ao Yan quickly interjected. After all, he's just a mortal. If it weren't for me, he'd be living an ordinary life by now. It's actually nice to let him live his mortal life. You may not know, but although he was originally a mortal, now that he's seen such a vast world, how could he possibly go back to his previous life? Marshal C. Immortal Venerable shook his head. No matter what you think, all I want to tell you is that on the path of cultivation, there should be no stumbling blocks. People like him will only bring you down and slow you down. You have great potential and talent, don't waste it because of such people and such matters. Ao Yan just nodded without saying a word. She felt a bit complicated inside. She slightly raised her head and looked back at the floor where Jiang Xiaobai usually slept, her thoughts drifting far away. Inside Ao Cheng's mansion, 3 people were having a drink and eating meat. Drinking so early in the morning seemed fine to Jiang Xiaobai, but he couldn't help it. He was feeling a little depressed. What's wrong? You seem unhappy early in the morning. Did my useless sister bully you? Ao Cheng, who had been drinking, was acting like he owned the world. He casually said something negative about Ao Yan. Kong Yuhui spewed out the strong liquor in his mouth upon hearing this. Stop talking, I don't want to die. Kong Yuhui shouted, buzz off, what do you know? Although my sister looks powerful and is admired by others, in my eyes, she's just useless. Besides cultivating, she knows nothing else. Do you know that she hasn't left Dragon Valley for nearly 30 years? Ao Cheng said irritably, she'll suffocate herself if she continues like this. Give it a rest, why do you care about this? You are not her. Jiang Xiaobai rolled his eyes and then raised his glass to clink with the others. After downing his strong liquor, Jiang Xiaobai gave a sound of praise, wiped his mouth, and then turned to Ao Cheng. Ao Cheng, have you been to the small grove on the east side of the back mountain? Yes, I used to play there a lot when I was a kid. Why do you ask? Ao Cheng looked puzzled. You go there often, have you ever felt anything strange? Jiang Xiaobai asked slowly. Ao Cheng thought for a moment upon hearing this, then finally shook his head. No, it's just a rundown grove, nothing useful. Why would this young master bother messing around there? Jiang Xiaobai narrowed his eyes, and didn't continue the topic. From his words, Jiang Xiaobai could tell that the grove in the back mountain was a place that people didn't pay much attention to, and that cave was deep inside the dense forest, which could be regarded as a place where normally nobody would go to or notice. In this regard, he almost certainly knew that the so-called ancestral spirit in there was plotting a significant scheme, and this scheme would fully explode when the ancient clan arrived. The key point was that once the conspiracy started, he was as good as dead. He had to find a way to deal with it. After pondering the situation in his mind, he realized that the ancient clan had not given him much time at all. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai looked at Ao Cheng. Didn't you say that Miss Lu would come? When will she arrive? Chapter 97, Chapter 97, Chapter 97 Dragon Valley Scripture Repository. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 97, Chapter 97 Dragon Valley Scripture Repository. They'll probably be here by noon tomorrow, replied Jiang Xiaobai. Ao Cheng picked up his wine cup, ready to take a drink when his hand suddenly froze, and he turned to stare at Jiang Xiaobai. Are you up to some mischief again? Jiang Xiaobai, I'm warning you, don't overstep your bounds. I haven't even squared accounts with you over the Ao Cangtian thing yet. As Ao Cheng spoke, he slammed the table, standing up. From the looks of him, it seemed as if he would definitely strangle Jiang Xiaobai if he was up to any sort of mischief. I'm just a little chi refiner, what ulterior motives could I possibly have? Jiang Xiaobai laughed, already deciding in his heart, he must try to make use of her this time. Not utilizing a holy maiden like Lu, she would just be wasteful. Following this, Jiang Xiaobai started to speak indirectly, wanting to find out the purpose of the Yuxian sect's visit to Long Valley this time. However, even Ao Cheng didn't know, as Lu she hadn't discussed this matter with him. In the end, Jiang Xiaobai could only give up, waiting till the Yuxian sect's people arrived tomorrow noon. All day, Jiang Xiaobai was either plotting his next steps or chatting with Kong Yuhuai about alchemy to foster a better relationship. It wasn't until very late at night that he left Ao Cheng's mansion and returned to his own courtyard. Ao Yen wasn't drinking tea this time. Instead, she was sitting at the table reading a book. That's right, she was reading a book. Jiang Xiaobai almost couldn't believe his own eyes. Ao Yen had changed so much since she finished her breakthrough. More shockingly, Jiang Xiaobai found out that the book Ao Yen was reading was actually a love story from the mortal world. He was dumbfounded. You lately, is there something about me that annoys you? If there is, just say it directly, won't I change? Jiang Xiaobai cautiously looked at Ao Yen. Ao Yen only glanced up before continuing her reading. Jiang Xiaobai became restless. She was acting too out of the ordinary. Thankfully, Ao Yen put away the book after a while and sat cross-legged on the bed, preparing to start her cultivation. At this moment, Jiang Xiaobai seized the opportunity and said, by the way, I want to ask you about someone. Ao Cangtian. If it's about him, you better not ask. Meddling in this matter is courting death, and I can't save you, warned Ao Cheng with eyes closed. And don't even think about him. He is taboo in Long Valley, not to be mentioned, understood? Jiang Xiaobai was silenced by this and could only close his eyes to sleep. However, his curiosity towards Ao Cangtian intensified. He now desperately wanted to figure out exactly what had happened. Early the next morning, Jiang Xiaobai left his courtyard early and went into the library of Long Valley with Ao Yan's token. Not only did it contain numerous secret manuals, but it also had records of major events that had occurred in the Long Valley over the years. Jiang Xiaobai did not hold out much hope initially. After all, a betrayal as serious as this wouldn't have a detailed record, let alone be in this place. But to his surprise, he actually found records about Ao Cangtian. Ao Cangtian was the most dazzling martial arts genius in Long Valley for tens of thousands of years, second only to Ao Yen. His bloodline wasn't that concentrated, but his potential was off the charts. He started practicing when he was 6 and by the time he was 16, he had reached a golden core cultivation level. Remarkably, at that age, he defeated a nascent soul stage practitioner. 20 years later he had reached the peak of the nascent soul late stage. His speed of cultivation was staggering. Even more terrifying was his combat power. In his nascent soul late stage, he fought head-on with a transcendence late stage practitioner. Even some weaker dividing the gods period cultivators could get into a fight with him. From then on, Cangtian became famous in one fell swoop, suppressing all his peerless rivals. 110 years later, his cultivation had reached the peak of the unity period and he wasn't far from reaching the tribulation stage. That year was the most glorious time in Long Valley's history. Long Valley crushed numerous forces in the eastern region of the Tianxian continent, and was only suppressed by a few of the strongest transcendent forces. Under such circumstances, it was very likely that Long Valley could completely evolve from a semi-transcendent force into a new transcendent force. The problem was, Cangtian was exceptionally talented, but he had an unyielding and arrogant temperament. He offended numerous forces, and these enemies, too afraid to act due to Cangtian's and Long Valley's power, still harbored resentment. In the end, according to this ancient book, Cangtian fell into a trap set by others. He was surrounded and attacked by many powerful adversaries, which eventually led to his death. Long Valley also fell from grace because of this. The records ended here, and also, the descriptions of Cangtian were brief, only mentioning a few noteworthy battles. After closing the book, Jiang Xiaobai narrowed his eyes. It was obvious that Long Valley didn't want people to know about past events, and it seemed that very few people in Long Valley knew about Cangtian. They wanted him to fade from memory. This wasn't the main point. The key was that Jiang Xiaobai knew about Cangtian's personality. There's a problem. Although Cangtian was arrogant and often made trouble, he was always vying for status and resources for the sake of Long Valley. He was fully devoted to Long Valley. And it seems the next leader's position was his. Under these circumstances, would Cangtian betray Long Valley? Even if he did betray Long Valley, given his personality, he wouldn't be likely to collude with the ancient family. At least it should be at the level of a transcendent force, Jiang Xiaobai murmured to himself, continuously analyzing events in his mind. In the end, he concluded that it was impossible for Cangtian to betray Long Valley by colluding with the ancient family. It didn't make sense, because what the ancient family could give him, Long Valley could give him too. Simply put, he lacks a motive. Who says it's impossible? Just as Jiang Xiaobai was deep in thought, an aged voice suddenly sounded from the side. Jiang Xiaobai quickly turned his head and saw an old man with white hair and a hunched back looking at him with a cold smile. "Elder, did you hear everything?" Jiang Xiaobai asked, laughing awkwardly. The library is so small, and my ears are not deaf." The old man responded coldly, looking rather questioning. "Are you very eager to know about Cangtian?" "Indeed, I have always been curious. How could someone like him possibly collaborate with the ancient family to betray Long Valley?" Jiang Xiaobai answered hurriedly. The elder shook his head and laughed. "What you know is only one-sided, or rather, you only know what Long Valley wants you to know. If you want to know, follow me. This isn't the place to talk." The elder spoke and then hunched his back as he turned to leave. Jiang Xiaobai followed joyfully. Soon he followed the elder out of a small door behind the library and found a small courtyard outside. "Please sit. I am also quite curious about you," said the elder. Chapter 98, Chapter 98, Chapter 98 Mysterious Elder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 98, Chapter 98 Mysterious Elder, Translator, 549690339. The courtyard, though small, was well equipped with everything. Furthermore, it was located behind the scripture archive, which was truly astonishing. Jiang Xiaobai immediately realized that this old man must be the guard of the scripture archive. Obviously, this old man had been staying here for a very long time, and judging from his manner, he must know a lot of things. The only thing that made Jiang Xiaobai curious was, why would this old man plan to tell him about Cangtian? In the entire Dragon Valley, the name, Cangtian, was a taboo and could not be mentioned. He was puzzled, but Jiang Xiaobai couldn't resist such temptation. "Elderly sir, what are you curious about me?" Jiang Xiaobai asked, sitting down. "You are nothing more than a mortal, yet within a few days, you are able to draw qi into your body. Such talent is beyond the imagination of common people. Even a reincarnated deity wouldn't be so exaggerated." The old man looked at Jiang Xiaobai with a smile, and poured him a cup of tea. "Go ahead, what is the purpose of your coming to Dragon Valley?" Jiang Xiaobai was momentarily thrown for a loop. Goodness, so his intention of calling him over was to ask this question. What purpose could he have? Could Jiang Xiaobai tell him that he had traversed from another world? Absolutely not. "Elderly sir, please do not joke. Even I don't know what's going on," Jiang Xiaobai said with a bitter smile. Indeed, to be honest, he really had no idea how he ended up in this world, and when the old man heard this, his smile became even more intense. If someone who didn't know the situation saw it, they might think that the old man had some special interest in Jiang Xiaobai. "Are you sure you have no other purposes?" "Really, I don't." "Elderly sir, weren't you going to tell me about Cangtian?" "How come?" Before Jiang Xiaobai could finish his sentence, the old man advanced and grabbed his wrist, funneling a powerful spiritual force directly into his meridians. Fortunately, Jiang Xiaobai always had his system for cover. The system intervened, making it impossible for the old man to see through with his skills. For a moment, the old man's face began to show a subtle change. "SSS, can it be that, you are indeed immortal?" The old man frowned, his expression changing continually. Meanwhile, the spiritual force probing in Jiang Xiaobai's body was also moving ceaselessly. In the end, after an all-round inspection, the old man did not find any abnormalities in Jiang Xiaobai. "Elderly sir, as I have mentioned before, when I was captured by Princess Ao Yen, I was totally perplexed." Jiang Xiaobai said helplessly. "In that case, your talent in cultivation is indeed extraordinary, unprecedented and unsurpassed." A glint flashed in the old man's eyes. He had already examined Jiang Xiaobai and found no clue. With his skills, the old man believed that Jiang Xiaobai couldn't have hidden anything from him, so he dismissed all suspicions. "You want to know about Cangtian, right? I will tell you. But there is a condition." The old man's astonished and puzzled expression disappeared, replaced by a more and more elusive smile. Looking at such a smile, Jiang Xiaobai felt a chill to his scalp. He suddenly felt that it had been a mistake to follow the old man into the courtyard. "Ahem, elderly sir, I suddenly remembered that Ao Cheng wants to drink with me. Why don't we talk about this some other time?" Jiang Xiaobai quickly coughed and tried to stand up to leave. However, at this moment, an overwhelming aura descended. Jiang Xiaobai found himself sitting down uncontrollably. At the same time, he realized that he couldn't move at all. At this moment, he understood that even if he desired to break free using all his power, he couldn't do it without revealing his cards. Helplessly, all he could do was stare at the old man with wide-open eyes. "That brat Ao Cheng always calls me Grandpa when he sees me. Can't you even show a bit of manners?" The old man said, looking at Jiang Xiaobai with a smile. Grandpa, where did I do wrong? I will change." "No, you did very well." The old man said with a laugh, "My condition is also very simple. From now on you don't need to go to Ao Minghai for cultivation, just follow me. I will make you a future that won't lose to Ao Yen. What do you think about this advantage? Aren't you tempted?" The old man in front of him put on a caring face, but no matter how Jiang Xiaobai looked at him, he just felt that this was a sly old man, the kind that exploits others to the bone and always gets one over on people. "Can L reject it?" Jiang Xiaobai asked tentatively. The old man snorted disdainfully and shook his head. "No. Then why the hell did you ask? Isn't this messing with me?" Jiang Xiaobai immediately deflated, knowing he was trapped. He could only sit dejectedly in the chair. Seeing this, the old man laughed heartily and stood up abruptly. "Kid, don't be ungrateful. There are many people in the Dragon Valley who want to become my disciple, but I don't even spare them a glance. Before you, the only person I wanted to accept as my disciple was Ao Yen. However, I merely entertained the idea. But as for you, I don't have so much time to talk nonsense. Jiang Xiaobai nodded helplessly. Then, can we start discussing Cangtian now? Of course, the old man said, revealing a cold smile on his face. This matter is taboo and cannot be mentioned in the eyes of others in Dragon Valley, but it is nothing to me. It's just that little fellow Xuanhuan who doesn't know the importance of this, that's why such a thing happened. Jiang Xiaobai was stunned. Who is Xuanhuan? Xuanhuan is the most powerful existence in Dragon Valley, yet such a powerful figure was referred to as a little fellow by this old man. For a moment, he became deeply interested in the identity of the old man sitting across him. I'm not afraid to scare you. Xuanhuan was taught by me, hand in hand. As for Cangtian, he's my most proud disciple in this life. As the old man spoke, his expression became somber. The hunched old body and the aged face revealed an indescribable feeling of desolation. But then, such a thing happened, and I was powerless, the old man murmured softly. Jiang Xiaobai swallowed, wanting to say something, but ultimately remained silent. The little courtyard then fell into silence. After a while, the old man looked at Jiang Xiaobai. Before I tell you the events of back then, answer me, why do you want to know all this? Jiang Xiaobai looked at the old man. The curiosity in his heart and his current situation made him grit his teeth. Elderly sir, I don't want to hide it from you, I want to use Cangtian. I believe Cangtian has been wronged, so I want to investigate clearly. If possible, I will free him. The purpose is only to deal with the ancient clan. In front of them, I have no power to fight back. I just want to survive. After finishing all this in one breath, the old man slowly nodded his head. Your mind is good, but unfortunately, your heart is big but your vision is too small. Chapter 99, Chapter 99, Chapter 99 The events of that year. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 99, Chapter 99 The events of that year, translator, 549690339. The old man sneered, why do you think you're still alive right now? Isn't it because I'm useful to Dragon Valley? Jiang Xiaobai asked with a puzzled look on his face. That's only part of the reason. The real reason you're alive is because Yener didn't let you die, and so you survived. The old man laughed scornfully and shook his head. Haven't you figured it all out yet? Even if Yener doesn't lay a finger on you, the people of Dragon Valley won't bother with you, and when the ancient clans come eventually, you will be safe. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai froze in place. Upon reflection, this made sense. He had fallen into his own misperception. Do you understand now? The old man chuckled. Jiang Xiaobai nodded. Although he realized that Dragon Valley would most likely not abandon him, he was only slightly comforted. It did not let his guard down. He was well aware that Cangtian was waiting for a chance to take him down from behind. Enough with the pointless talk. Let me tell you about Cangtian. The old man sat down, sipping his tea while telling the story of what happened to Cangtian in the past. Years ago, Dragon Valley discovered a secret realm with countless treasures. Nobody knew about it. Dragon Valley was initially planning to explore it by themselves. But somehow, the secret got out. Almost half of the major forces of the Eastern Territory heard of this secret realm and decided to have a piece of the pie. With no choice, Dragon Valley had to share the secret realm with these forces. The problem wasn't too big until something shocking appeared within the secret realm. The old man wasn't sure what it was. In fact, no one knew, but everyone realized this thing was extremely precious. There were even rumors of it having connections to the upper realm. Then a battle ensued. Dragon Valley wanted to secure the treasure, but Cangtian had too many enemies. All of the forces joined together to attack, forcing Dragon Valley to back off. As they were leaving the secret realm, their whereabouts were exposed, and they were ambushed by a few clans and sects led by the ancient tribe. Ao Shao, the then clan leader and father of Cangtian, was killed in the ambush. They were further pursued back to Dragon Valley, resulting in a monumental battle. Numerous talented disciples died, and many resources were consumed. The only reason for their difficult plight was that the mountain protection array of Dragon Valley was not activated. Ao Shao was ambushed and killed. The elders and other powerful beings were tied down by numerous opponents. Doubtlessly, Dragon Valley could battle them with no fear if this wasn't the case. In the end, Dragon Valley managed to repulse the powerful ancient tribe and others, but their foundation was consumed by 9/10. However, they realized that Cangtian did not show up during the conflict, so after the battle, they started looking for Cangtian and investigated why the mountain protection array failed to function. Jiang Xiaobai knew what followed without the old man telling him. When they found Cangtian, he was with the people of the ancient tribe, and evidence of Cangtian's betrayal was found. Later on, Cangtian was caught and imprisoned for 100 years, that's all. Do you still think there's a chance for him to get out? The old man asked Jiang Xiaobai indifferently, but Jiang Xiaobai looked puzzled. Old man, what was his motive for betraying Dragon Valley? This was Jiang Xiaobai's deepest confusion. No one knows, but the evidence was irrefutable. I found a command token of the ancient tribe and a token from the ancestral land of the ancient tribe on him. How could they give such things to him if he didn't collude with them? The old man sighed. Ever since then, I have been dispirited, indifferent to worldly affairs, and intent to spend the rest of my life watching over this library. Jiang Xiaobai remained silent. He knew the logic in this matter was off, but he also understood that during those times, the situation was precarious for Dragon Valley, no way to investigate further, or they would face the risk of being wiped out. That's why they locked up Cangtian. He knew there was no point in asking anything more for now, so he decided to let it go. Boy, do you have any more questions? If not, I'll start teaching you how to cultivate. The old man said indifferently. I have one more question. Jiang Xiaobai lifted his head. In the dense forest on the east side of the back mountain, there might be something suspicious. 10th Elder. After uttering those words, Jiang Xiaobai knew he couldn't say anything more. In the end, he was just an outsider. This was a matter for Dragon Valley to deal with, and all that Jiang Xiaobai had done thus far was for his own survival. The old man remained indifferent, his face impassive. He seemed unconcerned with all these, but Jiang Xiaobai understood that the elder had taken the hint. This old man is clearly a fiendish creature that has lived for hundreds of years. He surely knows what I'm suggesting. Jiang Xiaobai thought to himself. Then, the old man didn't waste any more time and immediately started to instruct Jiang Xiaobai on cultivation practices. Jiang Xiaobai was curious about why there was no formal master-disciple ceremony, but the old man said there was no need for that. For an entire day, the old man explained the nuances of cultivation. His explanations were comprehensive and he had a deep understanding. If Jiang Xiaobai were really only a beginner practitioner, he would have benefited greatly from this, but the thing is, he was not. He was already at the Yuan infant stage. Jiang Xiaobai wanted to go meet Ao Cheng and Lu Shi at midday, but the old man wouldn't allow him to leave. It wasn't till late at night that the old man finally let him go. Before Jiang Xiaobai left, the old man cautioned, I'm giving you 3 days. If you can't comprehend and implement what I've taught you, I'll destroy your cultivation base. If you can't even understand these clear concepts, you are not meant to go down the path of cultivation. Better to live an ordinary life. Those were harsh words. Jiang Xiaobai was scared. His cultivation base was at the Yuan infant stage. If this old man destroyed it, he would really be in a huge deficit, so Jiang Xiaobai didn't dare to neglect and began to contemplate immediately after leaving the library. He was anxious to not be killed by the ancient tribe, but instead fall by the hands of this old man. That would indeed make him a martyr. But it wasn't all in vain. He did acquire some valuable information about Dragon Valley today and was certain there was an issue with Cangtian's betrayal. There was definitely another traitor hidden in Dragon Valley. Jiang Xiaobai was also quite sure of this person's identity. Cangtian, oh Cangtian, your heart is so black that you could commit such a deed for your so-called goal. Jiang Xiaobai couldn't help shivering. The man's methods were a perfect embodiment of the words, insidious and ruthless. If I want Cangtian to help me survive, I need to find the evidence behind this affair. I hope the old man will gain something. As he thought of this, Jiang Xiaobai quickened his pace to get back. At that moment, things took a sudden and unexpected turn. A dozen figures in black suddenly appeared around Jiang Xiaobai. Without saying a word, they lunged directly at him. Chapter 100, Chapter 100, Chapter 100, Meeting Lu Shi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 100, Chapter 100, Meeting Lu Shi. Translator, 549690339. These people were all at the golden core stage, and amongst them, there were 2 at the early stage of a Yuan infant. If Jiang Xiaobai was just in the initial stage of qi refining, this lineup would have been extremely powerful. He would only have one path, death. Unfortunately for them, Jiang Xiaobai was already in the late stage of a Yuan infant. His cultivation was outrageously strong. Jiang Xiaobai reacted in an instant, charging out furiously and dodging the attacks of several people. Such a quick reaction was thanks to the sneak attack previously made by 3 idiots, which made Jiang Xiaobai especially cautious during his everyday cultivation. After evading the attacks, Jiang Xiaobai did not retreat. Instead, he stood his ground, and a heavenly-grade longsword appeared in his hand. This place was a small grove where the Scripture Pavilion and Dragon Valley Plaza intersected. It was normally bustling during the day, but at night, there was not a soul in sight. It was, indeed, an ideal place for murder. Seeing that Jiang Xiaobai did not retreat, the group of assassins began to revel in a joyous mood, standing against him. I have seen those who do not fear death, but never have I met one who seeks it. Do you honestly think you, a mere qi refiner, can combat us? The man in black who was leading the group gave a cold laugh. Without wasting any more words, he gestured the others to move in, ready for a quick and decisive battle. Jiang Xiaobai sneered and began to dance with his longsword, creating a flower shape in the air. In the next instant, the room was filled with the sharp light from his sword. Before the assassins could react, all of them were killed by Jiang Xiaobai. These assassins were only at the peak of the golden core stage, literally worth nothing to Jiang Xiaobai. After swiftly killing them, he walked forward to lift their masks using his longsword. They were all unfamiliar faces, and none of them had the brutal aura of Dragon Clan members. As expected, Xiantian would not allow the people in Dragon Valley to make a move against him. Therefore, how these people managed to enter the Dragon Valley is a mystery and a point worth investigating. But Jiang Xiaobai was not naive enough to think that this was the end of Xiantian's schemes. His target was no small fry. You bald bastard, I vowed to kill you when I ventured out, and I meant it. Jiang Xiaobai said. There was a cold smile on his face. He planned to kill Xiantian by using a cunning method, poison. The legendary 9 yin-yang pills, that he could indeed refine. However, he couldn't let Xiantian die too easily yet. He needed to use him to draw out Cangtian. Jiang Xiaobai had long suspected that Xiantian was the one who had wrongly blamed Cangtian, as he was currently the one colluding with the ancient clan in Dragon Valley. Seems like I will have to put in some effort to find evidence, Jiang Xiaobai said, squinting his eyes. He thought of the cave on the east side of the grove. Having considered the situation, he said, forget it, let that old guy worry about the cave. Now I need to figure out how to win over Lu Shi. The Jade Immortal sect is a quite powerful force. With these thoughts in mind, Jiang Xiaobai cleaned up the corpses on the ground using heavenly craft fire, then returned to the courtyard. As expected, Yan had not gone to practice but chose to wait for his return. Jiang Xiaobai had noticed some changes in Yan's attitude towards him lately. Right now, it all seemed like a normal interaction to him. Without waiting for Yan to speak up, he began to tell her what had happened. Yan was stunned at first, then her expression turned to disbelief. Are you the disciple of Elder Wu now? She asked. If by Wu you mean that hunchbacked old man, then yes. Jiang Xiaobai took a sip of water. If he hears you calling him that, you're in big trouble, Yan replied with a cold laugh. However, for some reason, she felt happy. Elder Wu held a very high position in Dragon Valley, perhaps the highest, but he had chosen to run away from worldly affairs. Even though he had always insisted that he wouldn't care even if Dragon Valley were to be destroyed, many people had forgotten about his existence. Such a significant figure suddenly taking Jiang Xiaobai as a disciple was more than astonishing. Yan looked at Jiang Xiaobai with curiosity for quite some time, then finally started to cultivate. Jiang Xiaobai didn't bother her. He simply went to sleep. Early the next morning, he rushed to Cheng's mansion. He bumped into 2 figures coming from the same direction, one of whom was Lu Shi wearing a face veil. Is it you? Upon seeing Jiang Xiaobai, Lu Shi suddenly asked, are you the one who wrote the poem for Cheng? Having been directly exposed, Jiang Xiaobai could only give an awkward smile and nod before urgently knocking on the door of A.O. Cheng's mansion. The person who opened the door was Kong Yuhui, groggy with sleep and reeking of alcohol. "Ah, brother Jiang is here." The moment he saw Jiang Xiaobai, Kong Yuhui's eyes lit up. Over the past few days, he had learned a lot about the art of pill refinement from Jiang Xiaobai. The deeper his understanding of the art, the more he thought of Jiang Xiaobai as a brother. He completely ignored Lu Shi standing on the side and dragged Jiang Xiaobai inside. "Brother Jiang, you have no idea how upset I was when I couldn't find you yesterday. The theoretical method you mentioned was tested, and it really works. You're simply amazing." Kong Yuhui was extremely excited, practically dragging Jiang Xiaobai away. Lu Shi was astonished. Who exactly was this Jiang Xiaobai? He was able to write poetry for A.O. Cheng, which clearly implied that they shared a good relationship. Now, he was also intimately close with the holy son of Five Lotus Mountain, as if he were Kong Yuhui's own brother. Moreover, they were discussing the art of pill refinement. All of this baffled Lu Shi, especially considering that Jiang Xiaobai was merely at the qi refining stage. With a furrowed brow, she followed them inside. A.O. Cheng was already dressed to the nines, looking dashing. His gaze never landed on Jiang Xiaobai or Kong Yuhui. He was solely focused on Lu Shi. "Miss Lu." A.O. Cheng approached her gracefully. This left Jiang Xiaobai feeling astonished. He nudged Kong Yuhui's shoulder urgently. "What's gotten into this guy? Since when did he start acting like this?" "I don't really know. He's been like that since he saw Miss Lu yesterday." Kong Yuhui shrugged. Jiang Xiaobai was inwardly shocked. Indeed, love was the best medicine that could change a person. If A.O. Yen could see A.O. Cheng now, she would probably be relieved. "Come, let me introduce you. This is Jiang Xiaobai, who I mentioned to you before," A.O. Cheng said with a smile. Lu Shi nodded to Jiang Xiaobai, but her gaze was filled with curiosity. "If you're only at the qi refining stage, why?" She didn't finish her sentence, but Jiang Xiaobai understood her meaning. "No particular reason, just some strange twist of fate, perhaps." "You guys chat first, I need to talk to Kong," Jiang Xiaobai replied with a smile before taking Kong Yuhui outside. "Why are you leaving? Can't you talk here?" Kong Yuhui asked, looking puzzled. "Get lost. I don't want to play the third wheel."